a rape at all in movies. It's certainly not that graphically. Was that something you had reservations about doing?
I didn't even think it was graphic.
Oh, really?
It was quite innocent. You didn't see anything except the after effect, really. Yeah. Never. I don't think you ever saw the man.
Well,
you see his feet or something.
No, you see a suggestion of a person.
Oh, you see? Oh, okay.
Oh, you keep this.
Oh, all right.
And we'll take questions. And please ask your question, then hand the mic right back to the usher, please, so we can get the next person.
First of all, Ms. Baker, we miss you.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
And what was it like to go from directors like John Ford, George Stevens to Jack and Eli Kazan? They're so disparate.
Was I lucky or what? No, I was always very careful about when they'd offer me a movie. I would take one with a good director if I could.
Thank you. I'm curious how Mr. Coffin got Aaron Copland to agree to write the music.
Oh, the music. Oh, Aaron, I know. And you know that Aaron Copland turned this score into a symphony called the Symphony for a Great City. And Jack and I wanted Aaron Copland, and this was a very low-budget film, so we didn't have the money for him. And United Artists said that they would give Aaron Copland his fee if I would then do a movie for them, and they would deduct it from my salary. So that's what happened. And I went to Africa, to East Africa, to do a movie with Bob Mitchum called Mr. Moses. That's how I paid for Aaron Copland. Let's get somebody in the back there.
What a marvelous performance. It's Academy stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Really. But I wondered if you had ever worked again with the director who directed this. You seem to have such a fit between you and the director. Could you describe that a little more?
I don't quite understand. What director?
The director of your film.
Oh, this, he was my husband.
That explains it.
He was my husband, and this was among the first independent films financed by United Artists, but Jack and I were the producers. And we had a company called Prometheus. As the movie never really made any money, certainly not for us, I used to say that Prometheus went back to the underworld. I don't know, I can't see. Can you give somebody a mic?
Yeah.
Right here. Right here.
This one. Right over there.
Right here.
Oh, and well, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You can see better than I can.
Yeah. First of all, a friend of mine named Jan Robbins, who I think you know, says hello and hope you're doing well.
Yes.
And my question is on the intensity of your performance. When you were shooting film, were you able at the end of the day to sort of shut down the character and go back to being Carol Baker, or was it a role that you had to live with until the end of the shoot?
Yeah, no, I didn't have a hard time. I'll tell you where the only film that I remember having a really hard time was Ironweed, because everything was so poor and downbeat, and the costume was so ugly, and I was so old and had a terrible hairdo. So I used to go back in Albany. I have to tell you, I didn't like. I used to go back to my hotel and order lobster every night just to cheer myself up. Somebody has to give you a mic.
Did you, oh yeah, wait for the mic, please. He's right there.
Two things. Did you do any other movies with your husband?
No, we did a few stage plays together. We did Anna Christie and a few others that they went on, like the summer tours and so forth.
Did he do any other movies?
Yes, he became famous by doing End is the Man on the stage, which that brought Ben Gazzara to fame, and it was on off Broadway. It was a big hit, and they moved it to Broadway. And he was very young, and they were calling him the new Orson Welles, which could tie anybody up in knots. So it was hard for him to work after that because he didn't know what they were raving about. And then he made a movie of it called The Strange One. And it was Ben Gazzara again, and George Peppard was introduced in it.
And because of the photography here was amazing.
Yes, oh yes, well, we had a wonderful cameraman, absolutely.
Is there a DVD version of this movie? Anybody know?
I understand that it just came out recently.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get Saul Bassett involved in this? That introduction was, that was amazing. I can tell you Saul Bass before his name came up, and I was just surprised.
Could you speak up a little bit? I'm a little
How did you get Saul Bass to be involved in this film?
Oh, just ask him. I mean, we were very lucky that Jack and I both had excellent reputations in the business, and we didn't have any problem with people working for us, including, the supporting actresses who were wonderful.
Did you have the same problem with the way you paid Aaron Copland? Did you have to do another movie somewhere?
He wanted to see the movie, definitely. He wanted to see the movie, and he thought it was wonderful and wanted to do it.
And the cinematographer was Eugene Shufton, who
Yes,
shot Metropolis.
marvelous,
Yeah.
cinematographer. I don't know,
Yeah,
can they get a
okay,
mic to you?
I was reading the Wikipedia entry about the studio system, and that you left for a while to work in Italy.
Yes.
You tried that? Did they make all the decisions for you? Why did you mention that you were blacklisted?
Well, they have on the internet the list of the Italian movies that I did. I was telling Bruce that it was very funny because I did at least 4 Italian movies that were titled Paranoia. And Jean Sorel, the beautiful French actor, was always my leading man. The story was always the same. It was a very wealthy widow who moved to Italy and rented this huge mansion, and then something terrible happened to her, or there was a mystery, something like that. Well, I couldn't understand, because when these movies went outside of Italy, they had different titles. And then I found out that in Italy, a producer has to pay the government so much money when he announces he's going to do a movie. So my producer just said, the 4 movies were one, Paranoia. Can somebody give you a mic?
Well, over here then.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I don't have to stand
No.
Tell me about what it's like working with Mildred Dunnick. I remember her from Death of the Salesman.
I'm sorry, you have to speak up a little for me.
Usually not my problem. Tell me what it was like working with Mildred Dunnick, who I believe worked with Cobb in Death of the Salesman.
Well, yes, but also in Baby Doll, she played Aunt Rose Comfort. She was amazing in Baby Doll. She was a wonderful, wonderful actress, and we were very, very lucky to get her to play a small part in something wild because, there wasn't much money. I don't think anybody got paid very much.
Okay, John?
Well, this this lady needs a mic.
Thank you. Hi. Excellent performance. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I just wondered what drew you and Jack what attracted you to this script, to this story.
It was based on a book, Alex Carmel's book called Mary Ann. And Jack had read it and was fascinated by the story, so he was the one that decided we should do it.
Hi, I read your autobiography, and you talked about you're a firm believer in fortune cookies. there's a story about that. I don't know if you remember.
I'm having trouble understanding you.
Fortune cookies?
Don't put the mic so close.
Okay.
Okay, now we have a lesson with the mic now.
You said you're a firm believer in fortune cookies.
Oh, yes,
Could you,
yes.
maybe you could tell that story?
Oh, yes, it is. It's an amazing story, really. Jack and I used to go to a Chinese restaurant in New York up on 125th Street because we liked the food very much. I had been having a very difficult time because I turned down pictures that I should have done, and I did pictures that I should have turned down. So I was in a state of confusion. Believe it or not, at the end of my Chinese dinner, I got a fortune cookie which said, "Go straight to Hollywood." And at that same night, I had a message from my agent, and he said, "Look, there's a movie, there's no script, I can't tell you what it's about, I can't tell you who you're playing, I know nothing about it, but it's going to have famous directors."